Good evening, folks. Welcome to Reaching Out with Eddie. You know, our last podcast is really getting some great reviews. I tell somebody to look at it, and I've been getting phone calls from people where people appreciate us doing that podcast because it let people know what they can do. I actually got a phone call from someone, and they ask questions. They inbox me and they ask me questions, and I give them the answers. And I'm leading everyone towards the Attorney General. Now, if you want to know the Attorney General, all you got to do is Google it. The Ponzi schemes for the Attorney General. I can tell. I had this one person. Her name is Stacey Harding, I think it is. Is that she just texts me and texts me. I'm sorry, she didn't text me. What she did was she had a lot of comments to say and said they're not doing that in the church. And I promise you, folks, I had an individual stop me at Walmart, and this person told me, said that I lost money with that too, and said that Lois Lane was the person that got her money. Lois Lane gave her some of her money back, but she still hadn't gotten all her money back. But people are glad to get even some of their money back. And so people are really watching these videos because they want to know. But one of the things that was said is that the members of Agape Storehouse Church, their members are getting paid, while everybody else that are not members are not getting paid. And so I had this comment that I said to her, and she didn't say anything to me. And so when the Dice Man come back in here, I'm going to have him read that. But one of the things that I was telling you guys a story about the school system. And so when I was telling you about the school system and everything, I got a phone call, and so I stopped, and I didn't go back to that. So I got to continue to telling you the story about that. But before I do that, Dice Man, do you have that comment up? Can the people see that? Can you show that to the people? Are they able to see it? Let the people see it, but I want you to read it to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you ready? You read it now.
See if I can read it. It's kind of small here. I tell you what, give me just a second. I'm going to read it for you. We'll put it on
okay,
screen.
and folks, the comment I made, and the reason why I want to read it is because it's profound. It's very profound what I said, not because I said it, but the message is in the message. Stacey was talking about the pastor being honest, and I'm not questioning that. But you got to look at it. When you start talking about a Ponzi scheme, a multi-level marketing scheme that's illegal, and a lot of the members are doing it in the church, and you know that some members are losing money and people are complaining about it, and also it's against the law, then somebody needs to stand up and speak about that. Nobody should be... are you ready to read it now, Dice?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the Dice Man fixing to read. Go ahead, Dice. Read the comment. And you guys could go to our channel, Reaching Out with Eddie, and look at it. And you can see the comments. And you can leave your comments. I'll answer your comments. Go ahead, Dice.
All right. You want to read all of them?
Read her comments and then read what I said.
Okay. All right. We have Stacey Harding here says, bottom line, Pastor and First Lady will always be my greatest of all time. There is nothing bad in them, and they are not responsible. I will speak to their character and integrity.
Can I answer
always.
That? Can I answer that, Dice? And I want to answer that, Stacey. Greatest of all time, having character and integrity, and you allowing a person to operate an illegal scheme in the church. He's allowing people. He knows that his members are participating in this. He knows Tarquez Hobson is doing this. He knows that Tarquez's mom is doing it, and perhaps even you, Stacey, are doing it, or either involved with either a leader or either involved in some kind of way. So I don't even understand how a person can put integrity and honesty in the same sentence as breaking the law or scheming poor folks out of their money. This is not a business opportunity. This is a scheme. Go ahead, Dice.
Okay. Jim Myrick. You want me to read the other people's comments?
Yeah, you can read
okay.
what Jim Myrick said.
Jim Myrick says, another good show. And Jim Myrick also says, the vote for Chris Reed was 4-1, with Weston Linderman voting against it.
And I'm going to talk about Chris Reed later on, but we'll continue on. Thank you for that.
Okay, let me go down. Louise Jones says, "Speak the truth, Mr. Holt."
And I try to, if I, you know, I'm not perfect, but go ahead, Dice.
Okay, Stacy Harden also says, "Sir, it wasn't done at Agape Church. It was people from Agape Church."
Wow, Stacey, I don't. That doesn't make you come across so as. I mean, read that again. It wasn't done by the church, but people from the church. If the people from the church are doing it, then that's the church that represents the church. And then if you know about it, your pastor know about it. That's the reason why A.J. Lovegood did not answer my question. Continue.
Okay. She also says, "Sir, you still have it inaccurate. This was not presented through the church. It was presented from church members."
And I don't think I ever said that the church was operating a Ponzi scheme. It was being operated by members of that church, of which I've called out. And then the pastor know about it, and perhaps from what I'm understanding now, that Pastor Willis has also encouraged members of his church to participate in the flower program. We're going to call it that, which is a multi-level marketing scheme.
Okay. She asked for the phone number, and then okay, that's it for her comments. And your reply was, in general, I guess. It says, "Do you folks understand what you are saying? If members of the church are participating in an illegal act, it is not only the duty of the leaders of the church to stop it, but it is also the duty of every law-abiding citizen to stop it and or report it to the proper authorities, especially when members of the church are victims of the scheme." Let me go down a little bit more. How is it that anyone can view integrity and honesty in the same context as scheming and breaking the law? Members of your church, their families and friends are losing money. Instead of attacking me, why don't you put forth concerted efforts to end the illegal multi-level marketing scheme? Your leader is silent. He has been silent too long. As a leader in this community, he should speak out against it and end the fraud against innocent people.
Wow, and that's profound. And I can tell you that it's kind of touching for me, Dice. And the reason why it is because I've been in a situation where I've lost things and things were taken from me and I couldn't do anything about it. And so I started educating myself and I started learning. And people, this is wrong and it is wrong. And we shouldn't be talking about multi-level marketing scheme. Shouldn't be talking about business period in the church. I thought you should be talking about saving souls, what your Bible say, or what your Quran say. I don't think you should be discussing things like how do you make money and how do you get rich. And you know that probably a lot of the people go to that church are in a position, probably part of the working class. And these people do not have this money to give. They don't have it to give. And how about the person I talked to the night? No, too bad I'm not giving you her name. Wow. Did I get too much of my information there, Too Bad? You need to leave me alone, Too Bad. You're always saying and doing things and making me slip a tongue. Well, I didn't tell you where I was, so you don't know who I'm talking about. Either way, that person said they did make money at first, but they lost money in the end. And that's what happened. You make money, once you get paid. I think you see one payday, and that make you go out and I guess spend more money to try to make more money. And you can see I have, I'm not going to share it with you this time, but I'm going to share with you how they're begging people, hey, I need $2,500 more, or I need more flowers to come on board so I can fill up this tree. And wow, man, but you understand that the person that asking for that is the leader. That's the initiator. That's the con artist. That's the head man. That's the person that's going out and buying new cars and new houses. That's the person that's not going to give you that money. Let's talk about it. Are you going to take money that you just got from somebody if your baby's in there crying? No, people going to take care of their needs. There's no honor among thieves, folks. There's no honor among thieves. So this is just something to end. And Stacy, I don't know what your relationship is with Pastor Willis is, but again, Dice, folks contact me. They're like females. I ain't heard not one guy. And again, I like to say this again. I like to reiterate, Pastor Willis, you have been silent. Is he a deaf mute? Can he speak for himself? The only thing he know how to do is preach on Sunday. He should speak up. He definitely should speak up against what's going on. It's illegal. You can't get around that. You cannot get around it. And I like to, again, reiterate and encourage all of you out there that have lost money to contact the Attorney General. The Attorney General will investigate. The Attorney General seizes property. I said place a lien because I went back and listened at my show. The Attorney General seizes property. So Pastor Willis, Scotty Cole, what you are doing is you're jeopardizing that church that was there before either of you came there. Probably, I don't know, maybe you started yours, Pastor Willis, but Scotty Cole, I know wherever you're preaching at, that building was there before you came. So a lot of these buildings around here that people are falling victim of that scheme, and everybody need money now because you done went to everybody. They going to other counties, other places and things like that. And that's really, really bad. I want to get back and I want to talk about Pearlie Walker. Her name, and my son called her P. Walker. I was telling you guys how Miss Walker is not letting her students go to the classroom. Go to the bathroom. Understand that Miss Walker class is, I guess, the third tier or the last tier after the children come from lunch. Now, a lot of you out there, when you go to lunch, you drink things. The older you get, the more frequent you have to utilize the restroom. And she won't let children go. She don't care what they got to do. This is a lady that does not need to be teaching. And if Dr. Blackman can't compel her or get her to do the things that she need to do, he needs to fire her. He's a boss. If he don't have the strength or the integrity or the courage to fire her, then he needs to be replaced. Because we should not be allowing our children to suffer. And so I reported her twice. I had to report her a total of 3 times. And here I am. I'm a hands-on parent that will report, that's going to stand up for my children. A lot of you out there will not. Some of you cannot. But the thing of it is, because you cannot or will not, does that mean that your child should suffer because some evil teacher won't let them go to the bathroom? So I said that. I said, it's not about my son. What my son did was observe other children going up there talking to P. Walker saying, I need to go to the bathroom. And P. Walker would not let them go. So my son, that's what you call observation intelligence. He observed that she was telling them no. And this is after I done complained twice about this heifer. And she still wouldn't let him go. So he wouldn't ask her. And I reiterate again that when my son got out of school that day, he peed on the campus ground outside by the truck. No child should have to do that. And so the next day I went in there and told him, man, that's a problem. And he said, what? She still won't let him go. Now, here it is, Dr. Blackman. When you tell somebody, you got to put some bass in your voice. You got to be a lot more assertive. You got to be assertive when you're talking to a subordinate and they're being insubordinate and not following the rules, especially when they're telling our young children they can't go. Folks, you know a lot of the drinks out there are sugary drinks. Dice, what do sugary drinks do to a person's prostate? It makes it loose. They have to pee constantly and continually they're peeing. It's somewhat of a diuretic. They're peeing all the time. So she got to let them go. They're giving them this stuff in the school, so they got to let them go to the bathroom. And so, he went there and said something to her a third time. Obviously, she did not like that. Now, when I picked my son up from school Tuesday, now he got tears in his eyes. He's crying. He don't even want to go up in there anymore. He said, Daddy, she's been fussing at me all through the classroom. Now, this is the third tier now. So I guess from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock for 2 hours, this heifer been fussing at my son. Now, folks, I'm telling you, I'm mad as hell now. Now, see, you mess with my children, come mess with me. You can even mess with my lady. Don't take that serious, Tony. But you can mess with my lady. I ain't going to fight you about any of those things, and I'm not. And that is serious. Some of my ex-old ladies out there know. I'm not going to fight you about the choices you make about your own body. But if you mess with my child or my children, I'm going to hurt you. And if I see you messing with another child, I'm going to step in. I know it ain't my business, but I'm going to make it my business because it's the duty of every adult when a child being misused or abused, you got to stand up for it and say something about it. And so, anyway, so I told him, I said, I don't want my son going up in there again. And of course, Dr. Blackman's going to take my son out of that class. But folks, it won't get to be that far. The reason why it won't get to that is because I'm moving my son from this school district here in Meridian Public School District to Tuscaloosa City School District. Their mom done moved to Tuscaloosa, so we're transferring them to Tuscaloosa City School, which are better school. Now let me tell you about the difference between the school. A failing school in Alabama is better for our children than a C-level school or a B-level school here in the city of Meridian. But we don't even have that in the city of Meridian because the school systems here are failing. And you know, I talked about the principal at T.J. Harris Upper, and I was and what I wanted to say, and not so much so when you go to a private school system or a school system into a neighborhood when you have a majority white student body, rarely any black students. My son, Connor Holt, went to Oak Grove Elementary School in Oak Grove, Alabama for the pre-K and the first grade. He was one of 10 students in that whole school, and they might have had one or two black teachers there. Those black teachers had been I guess enculturated. They had picked up the culture and the ideas and the behavior of the European community. And in other words, they taught from a Eurocentric perspective. They taught those children based on the behavior of white folks. White folks think taught. They educated their children based on white middle class culture. White middle class Eurocentric culture. Understand what I'm saying? That's what they did. And see, we're accustomed to that. Because, you know, how about my mama called her grandmother Mammy? She picked that up from the white folks. Because my great-grandmother was born a slave in 1853. And so she, you know, they used the black women's titties for that, to feed their children. They didn't do anything. They would have a baby, and time they had a baby, they turned it over to Mammy. They didn't do anything for themselves. And you know, somebody made a joke. I seen that on Facebook, how they said a Negro means a lazy person. But then you go back when we were slaves. Yeah, D.L. Hewlett said that. You go back to when we were slaves, look who's doing all the work. If we was lazy, then if a Negro or a nigger defined a lazy person, that's definitely not us. It's definitely not us because we built this country. The one that's laying on their behind, those are the real niggas. Some of you out there ain't gonna like that, and these are the kind of things that I say. But again, I think that when Marie Franklin was talking to me the other day, and I was talking about a prophet, a pastor, and a minister, we look at those as being the same thing in our community, but they are entirely different. The prophet prophesies. They prophesize what's going on in the Bible, supposed to be able to tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's still somebody you're listening to. How about when you go to these black churches, you see the prophet, you see the pastor, and you see the minister. They all doing the same thing. They're teaching from that one book, and they're telling you how to live and what to expect when you live. So they kind of like they're prophesizing. A minister, they telling you you're sick. They're telling you what to do to feel better, to do better. So they're ministering to you. How about reverence? You look up to them like they look up to Pastor Willis. They hold him in reverence no matter what he do. They hold him in reverence like he's God. So I have to kind of like explain those things. They're all one and the same, just like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost is all one and the same. Now, you can go to the definition and you can get a different definition, but they're all one and the same when it comes to the black community, how we look at them and how we view them and how we listen at them, whatever they say. That's the reason why a lot of people losing money now, because they got that cloak on their back. They got the cloak on their back, the cloak of God, the cloak of reverence, the cloak of being a prophet on their back, but that's not what's in their heart, and that's not what's coming out of their mouth. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a break, and then I'm coming back. Let's take a break, Dice. Folks, welcome back to Reaching Out with Eddie. People, I got to tell you this, is that, you know, so much going on in the city of Meridian, and with this new chief of police, Chris Reed, this is really ridiculous. You know, this man lied to the city council. And then, you know, you read the paper article saying he was Captain Reed. He was an acting captain, folks. He was actually a sergeant. They made a sergeant that had been working from the City Meridian off and on, probably about the last, can I tell my story? 2 or 3 years. I don't have any experience, but one thing that he was he was over the ICE unit. That's the Interstate Crime Enforcement Unit. Do you realize, folks, this is where they intercept drugs, and they intercept drugs there. You know, I always suspected and suggest and said to you out there that the City Meridian is operating a criminal organization, that the ICE unit are actually individuals that breaks the law and take drugs, Percy get this money and spend it, and they put these drugs back on the streets. You know, Ant Ball had to go before the Civil Service Board. Folks, it was a joke what they did. It shows that they already knew what they were going to do. And some of you out there ask me about Ant Ball, what did he do? Now, he became a police officer in 1995. When he became a police officer in 1995 to the present, and he served from the City Meridian from 2000 to the present, undercover agent from 2000 to 2003, till he joined the military after 9/11. While working narcotics. He was in the military from 2003 to the present. What happened was, prior to him, and we're going to go into it in greater detail when we come back, but we just going to talk about Lydia. And the reason why I don't want to talk about it a lot, I want him to come here and tell his story. And can nobody tell your story better than you? As opposed to me coming here and just reading, you know, and telling you all these things about his 18 years in the military with 3 years in the Army Reserve and 8 years in the Air Guard, then finish up his career in the Army Guard. He was an undercover agent with the Drug Task Force from 2000 2004. He's been to 2 state deployments, and he's been overseas in Iraq a couple of times also. He also been deployed as an Army National Guard. And all of this happened, folks, while he was in the military. Prior to him going somewhere, he got written up, and I'm going to read that to you. He got written up. Chief Duvos now you told Detective DeMarcus Wearbon is the one that filed charges, didn't file charges on, but he went to the Attorney General saying that he was taking money from somebody off the streets. Now understand, DeMarcus Wearbon forced the judge's signature and kept his job. And now he works for the Sheriff Department. So now in the state of Mississippi, when you commit a felony such as forging a judge's signature, you can forever prosecute it, because Sheriff Berry, you know, they had cleared prior to Sheriff Berry under the previous administration, I guess John Robert Smith's administration, he wouldn't put Twin in jail. When Sheriff Berry was elected, she went back and picked up that investigation, not only fired him, charged him, and put him in jail. How about to this day he's a convicted felon? I said this to say this, is that DeMarcus Wearbon, you're still not free. Once we get out of this administration, Solid should have, Solid, I got to ask you, Sheriff Solid, how is it that you got a law officer that's working for you that have forged a judge's signature as a chief law enforcement agent in this county? It is your duty to go and investigate him, and if he forged somebody's signature, it is your duty to arrest him and put him in jail, or either turn it over to the Public Integrity Division of the Attorney General. But you have not done that. But here, Ant Ball, how about the Attorney General cleared him? So here, folks, they done fired Anthony Ball for no reason. The reason that they arrest him, the Attorney General, no reasons. Because as an undercover agent, it is your duty to pay informants or go out and spend money on informants. Wherever you get your money out of your pocket, they have money and fund, but what about when they run out of money? And anyway, he was cleared. And so they let Percy Bland fire and stand. All this is illegal, gonna cost us money. And so Percy done made Chris Reed his chief of police. Chris Reed was over the ICE unit when Levi Gibbs was beaten by Alex Lee and Matthew Spears. Chris Reed was there also when we showed you that video. He lied to the city council and said nothing was done. They found him to be a liar. He's only a sergeant. He does not have the experience nor the seniority that Rita Jacks has, that Chris Scott has, or probably Detective Van, or anyone. He got the lowest rank out of everybody there. He even have less seniority than Brunette. A racist agenda. And you can see this here is illegal. You're talking about discrimination at its worst. It is sad that when you have a black administrator, because he's so corrupt, person, won't you just take your sorry ass home? Won't you just leave? Won't you just go? Man, I tell you, Percy, man, you ain't right at all. And talking about Weston Linderman, I did exactly what you did. I talked about Weston Linderman because he was part of your team. I was trying to tear your team down, and tearing your team down, I could tear you down. But it did not work. You and your team went in there anyway. But one thing that you didn't expect and I didn't expect, for Weston Linderman to really not be your yes man, for Weston Linderman to really be an astute politician. I mean, a young man to go in there and learn his job, and he wasn't your yes man. He wasn't going to go in there and rubber stamp everything that you want done. Folks, it is obvious that we've been bamboozled. It is obvious that the governing authority did not do their job. They did not vet this candidate. All they did was lie. George Thomas, now I'm going to agree with Lolo. Somebody need to come get their granddaddy. I forgot your name, Cindy, whatever your name. Come get your daddy. Your daddy old and sitting down, need to take his ass home. Lo, that ain't true. He's not old. He's old. He's not sitting down. He's a racist. He don't care. He always have been a racist. He has benefited from the money from the citizens of the state of Mississippi. But he's a racist. He don't give a damn about the city of Meridian. It is his duty to sit there and make sure chaos continue in our community, to make sure our children are not represented. They're not represented anywhere. Man, I hate going to I love Parkview. I'm going to tell you why I love Parkview so much. They have a black principal, black assistant principal, and they have a black counselor, and most of the teachers, they are black. I love Parkview. Y'all need to look at Parkview and let it be a model for how the rest of the school system in the city of Meridian need to be. I don't think that we should have a white principal like that lady over there at Parkview, and I don't think we need to have a watered-down principal like we have Dr. Blackburn. Y'all know what I mean by that. I don't know whether the man is gay. I know he's too effeminate. Folks, we'll be back shortly.
Just
Folks, I just want to welcome you back. You know, we talked about it. It didn't take long to talk. But when people tell you not to tell things, you definitely can't tell it. Now, I don't know why they told me in the first place, too, but they shouldn't have never told me. I just want to say this, folks, that I'm going to be closing out shortly. And I think that I've given you enough information. Weston Linderman is going to come here one day next week. But I want to say this, is that person end up getting what he wants. And that's what's sad about all of this, is that he got what he wanted. What he wanted was a corrupt person, a person that don't mind breaking the law, a person that would do exactly what he tell them to do. He got that person in Chris Reed. And our city council failed us. They failed us because they did not properly vet this candidate. There's no way that you're talking about putting somebody up there one week and the very next council meeting, instead of putting that person there, you automatically, and then everybody nominate that person. Well, that stinks. That stinks to high heaven. You guys had y'all violated the open meeting law. And what I mean by that, folks out there in podcast land, is that they met in private. Person met with each one of them in private and got a yes vote from them before he brought them up. Because all four council people, all persons, all four council persons voted for this guy except for Weston Lindemann. Now, I'm going to say this to you, Dwayne Davis. Now, I wasn't going to run against you after talking to you the other day, and you said that you're going to listen to the people, that you were not going to tear down Velma Young building. And you said you was going to come on this podcast. I reminded you that you lied. I said, well, come now. He said, I can't come right now. I know why you can't come right now, because you got to get permission from your boss man, Percy Bland, to come. See, I can tell that's your boss, and I'm going to tell you how I can tell that's your boss. Because you ain't even smart enough to know that you didn't have to be the fourth vote, because all it take was 3 to confirm. If you really wanted this job, you wouldn't have did what they told you to do. How about when Weston Lindemann asked for investigation? Even if you guys did not even know it was any kind of wrongdoing